You are welcome to Nana's Tarot and Oracles. I am the Nana, and Nana loves you. You have a home here for comfort and contemplation, hope and inspiration, rest, renewal, and relaxation. Your readings here will empower you to use your intuition to help you towards a better life. All readings are dedicated to truth and light, but cannot take the place of professional services of any kind. Readings are general for the collective, and if they do not sound right for you, they may not be specifically for you. Try again another day. If you like what you're hearing, please select the like button below and subscribe with all notifications. It's free. Share with your friends or family. If you have a question or a comment, I will try to answer it below. You are important to Nana, and Nana is always glad to see you again. Today is February the 20th, and it is a very important day in astrology because we are experiencing a transit today of the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in the 0 degree of the first sign of the zodiac, a conjunction that is estimated to have happened last 6,000 years ago. And so this is literally unprecedented in human history, and the astrologers have been talking about it a good bit, and do not seem to be entirely sure about all the effects, except that the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, which occurs, I want to say, about every 36 years, is frequently associated with some disruptive events. And so many of us have been feeling energies. Of course, we were also feeling a lot of the energies of the new moon, solar eclipse, year of the fire horse, Mardi Gras, Ramadan, that just occurred on Tuesday when we did our last reading. And in our last reading, I had selected some cards to look at, but then in the card that came up for the Inner Temple Oracle for me was the end is also the beginning, as it is with this conjunction, and also the in-between card. And then when I was drawing cards from the tarot, I drew the World card and the Fool card. And I thought that the end is also the beginning actually reminded me of the World card with the figure stepping through the wreath, this being the symbol of the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. And our tarot card that symbolizes our new year, which is an Aries card, is the Fool. And the Fool card epitomizes a leap of faith, also epitomizes youth and innocence and naivete. And so this is perhaps the attitude that we need to cultivate as we approach this in-between area. I spoke briefly on Tuesday about this new moon solar eclipse being the first in a series of two. We are now having the moon waxing up to what will become a full moon lunar eclipse, or what is called a blood moon. And Tanaz from foreverconscious.com talked about the eclipse gateway between the solar and the lunar eclipses, where solar eclipses draw things into your life and help you to create and direct your life in a new way. And talking about how you need to put your dreams into action and go after what it is that you really want, and align your words with your actions. Possibly using affirmations. As you walk this eclipse gateway, there is often a feeling of support around starting new things and a sense of being guided as you take the next step. I hope that you can have the benefit of that feeling. It's likely that you'll have a burst of energy and inspiration following a solar eclipse. But as you get closer to the lunar eclipse, which will be March the 3rd, however, the energy begins to shift and you start to become aware of what is blocking you from being able to move forward. You may have your dreams and all your plans laid out, but the lunar eclipse will alert you if there are things that need to be cleared. I also have from my newsletter from astrologybyLauren.com, her newsletter from last night, which talks about Saturn and Neptune in between the eclipses. And she notes that eclipse seasons can be exhausting and feeling like our energy might run out during that period of time, just as Tanaz spoke of. She speaks of the conjunction of the Saturn and Neptune as speaking of potential, with a new beginning emerging out of the chaos that exists between the two eclipses. This is where the fates weave our destinies at the foot of the sacred tree of life, and also where and when the gods speak to us in whispers and challenge us to fulfill our destinies. And while we are in this in-between period, we can suffer some fear of the unknown, and we need to find our courage and our strength and our belief in ourselves. Talks about how Neptune is idealistic. These are our dreams and our visions. Saturn is cold, hard reality. This may at first dash all your dreams to smithereens, to believe that all is hopeless. Know that this is not necessarily so. Actually, it is because you're being given something of a reality check that you become aware of what is or is not possible, because it is within the context of the way things actually are and not what you hope them to be or prefer them to be, that we can actually make progress. What Saturn and Neptune weather does is test our faith. This is when we're being asked to put our ideals and our faith into application. This also will show us if we are going to need to make sacrifices in order to make our dreams happen. And so much can be revealed during this period of time. She also notes, and this is very important, that we have entered the shadow of Mercury retrograde, which will make its retrograde station on February the 25th, 26th in the sign of Pisces. This is also helping us to close out this cycle and get to where we can make meaningful progress on the new cycle. All of this is the in-between time that is referenced by Rebecca Campbell's. And the in-between time is a time when we may find ourselves in a chamber of transformation. We talked on Tuesday about metamorphosis, about the process of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. This card illustrates that. But the in-between space, here is the text, which is one of the inner temple activation cards. Talks about endings hurtling us to the edge of our lives, to the in-between. This quiet and uncomfortable place is one we'd prefer to avoid, and we'd much rather find more familiar ground. It's here that we're no longer where or who we once were, and also not yet where or who we'll be someday soon. We're in the in-between. And the activation for this is, it's okay for me to be in the in-between. There's no rush. I patiently plant seeds for my becoming. I trust that I won't miss what's for me. And when I do my next reading, we will look at the Chamber of Transformation to consider that. I thought for today, considering the momentous nature of the conjunction, that this might be a good time to just pull some runes and some cards and tap into our energies. And so what I would like to do first is shuffle. On the cut, we have the King of Swords and the Five of Swords in reverse. That's interesting. And on the cut, we have the Two of Cards. We've gotten this card recently, and of course the King of Swords shows up again. And we have the Five of Wands. So 2 5s out of our cuts. And our significator card for today will be the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Pentacles are the earth signs, signs of money, material possessions, health, related to the root chakra. The Eight of Pentacles is considered to be a card of mastery of a craft. Pentacles are the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This may relate to you or someone you know. In the reverse position, I would suggest that this means that we have not completely mastered our craft, and that certainly would go along with our being in the in-between period of time. On the reverse of the deck, to clarify, we have the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is a very interesting card. The Chariot is a major arcana card, number 7, and it is the card of Cancer. It has a lot of very interesting symbolism on it. The Chariot is considered to be a sign of forward progress. The Chariot is pulled by 2 sphinxes who are not harnessed and who are currently lying on the ground. That also would seem to go along with the in-between state. And the next card on the bottom of the deck is the Moon. The Moon is also a major arcana, number 18. The Moon rules Cancer, and this is a Cancer card. And the Moon features some symbolism too, in particular the little yellow drips coming off the sun are what are called the yods of the tarot. They are actually a Hebrew letter, but they are thought to indicate blessings of the divine. We have the wolf and the dog. So we have the conscious, the subconscious, and we have this sort of lobster-looking character who is crawling out of the water. The Moon is to indicate things that may not be clearly seen, that may be obscured. We have had the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, which this would somewhat resemble, and we are working towards the Blood Moon eclipse, so I can certainly see the association here. And finally, on the bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. But the Wheel of Fortune has no alteration in its meaning in reverse. Again, though, might possibly be somewhat delayed. The Wheel of Fortune is, again, number 10, a major arcana card. So to have received 3 major arcana cards in this reading is very significant, considering the conjunction. The Wheel of Fortune is full of symbols as well. The characters in the corners represent the fixed signs in astrology. That would be Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and I'm not entirely sure what the last one is. There are a number of alchemical symbols in here, including the symbol for Mercury. Might be a reference to the Mercury retrograde. The Wheel of Fortune, again, I like to listen to another reader who says that they've never called it the Wheel of Misfortune. So all things considered, I would say that this gives positive omens. Now let's have a talisman oracle card. These cards were pre-shuffled before the reading. And our talisman oracle card for today is mindfulness with the praying mantis and with a star at the top. The talisman oracles, of course, have embedded sacred geometry that will prompt your mind to think about whatever you need to be mindful about. Mindfulness is certainly an excellent quality to bring to times of uncertainty and turbulence. Let's see what the booklet has to say about mindfulness. Here is the text, and here is some of the sacred geometry. In a reading, there is a lot of beauty in the stillness of the mind, allowing ourselves to be present in the moment and not worry about how things could have been or what we could have done better, can open our minds to the treasures of what we have to be thankful for. With great patience and perseverance, we can accomplish anything. It's best not to rush into action or judgment too quickly. Often patience is not about how long we can wait, but what we can do with our time while waiting. We can learn to be grateful for every moment of the day. Even when we feel stuck and things don't go our way, like the praying mantis, staying mindful will make all of your endeavors more fruitful and meaningful. The talisman power of this card: use this card when you need to recenter and find peace in the moment. When you have a hard time being patient with yourself, try taking a moment to envision the praying mantis staying still. Bring your hands to center and focus on your breath. Can you locate where in your body your emotions are resonating? Is something tense? What sounds do you hear around you? And the affirmation for this card is, I am still. And let's have a rune. Our rune for today is Fehu, abundance, and it has presented in the reverse. In the reverse position, it is thought to constitute a portent of loss and disappointment. And certainly we are experiencing some turbulent times now, and many of us are experiencing times where we are having loss or disappointment. However, we certainly have plenty of opportunity to reverse that and to refine our mastery. We await our forward progress. We await our wheel of fortune to turn again. And let's have a hexagram from I Ching, the Book of Changes. These cards were pre-shuffled before the reading. Our hexagram for today, oh, that's interesting. This is the same hexagram that we had on Tuesday. Now, to draw that out of a deck of 64 cards a second time seems to me to be interesting. Let's see what Benabel Wynn had to say. About number 63, which is hexagram GG after the ending. The oracle for this hexagram anticipates pitfalls before advancing. How might your actions affect others? A noble leader puts the people's welfare before self-interest. You have done what you have done. The matter now is what happens next. It is the time after an ending and at the start of a new beginning. Well, that certainly does resonate with the World and the Fool cards. Call upon the illustrious ancestor. When it comes to receiving favor from the divine, the extravagance of your offerings does not matter. The sincerity of your heart and piety matter more. Well, that is certainly an interesting development. I hope that these cards have given you plenty to think about. Thank you for tuning in to Nana's Tarot and Oracles today. You make Nana's day. Nana loves you and hopes you leave a question or a comment below. Select the like button, subscribe, it's free, and select all notifications. Nana will see you again soon in peace and love.